Check, check, check. Making sure this mic is working. I'll bring the sound down a bit. The background to start off with. And bring over to here. Alright. I think it's working. Welcome in. This is something new. I'm going to give it a try here. You'll notice at the bottom right I have this birding stats thing that I'm doing for this year. Kind of doing a stream on Sunday night, which is my tentative idea of doing this every Sunday that I'm available in the night, is to kind of finally keep up with my eBird stuff, but also keep up with the photos I'm taking and the audio I'm taking. If I actually take some time to do it as a stream, it might, keep me at it if I know I have that kind of obligation. So we're going to give that a try. And I'm going to blow up these thumbnails a bit first, too. Some more bigger thumbnails. Yeah, let's do that. Can I get rid of... No, can't get rid of it. Can't make this... Well, I can make this a little bigger. Okay. So I'm going to start off... so this Sunday night thing, in the longer term, hopefully it'll be the slot I use for, guests and this kind of catch-up thing, and just kind of allowing me to also review the things I have, so I don't get this crazy backlog like I have right now. So maybe trying that. The problem is the last week or so I have been out of commission in terms of being able to get out birding and hiking, and this is a terrible photo, of course, but I got to start with the first photo of the year, which I believe is a very blurry Carolina wren in the background there. No, it's some leaves. There's a wren there somewhere. Let's see if we find it. Is there a wren in there somewhere? And if we do sound effects, I'll be bringing the current sounds down. But at the moment, I'm just leaving some nice sound effects that I've recorded. Soundscape from last year. Let's see. So, yeah, you'll notice on the bottom right, 38 species. That's what I'm at for the year now as of this week. That's how many species I've observed and reported on eBird. Oh boy, this wren is just not on here, so it's probably in later pictures here. So I was having a heck of a time because my leg was all injured. These are at a trail near my house. The problem isn't that I can't walk, it's that I can't drive. It's kind of weird. Like, I can walk around, I can stand here, no problem. I just can't sit very well or lay down very well. So the drive to places with natural environments is the tough part right now. So I could only literally handle maybe 4 minutes of driving, which is what it took to get to this spot. In fact, it was probably 2 or 3 minutes driving to get to this spot, and I decided to hike it. But after walking enough, I was actually felt comfortable enough that I could drive another 10 minutes. So that's what's going to come up after this. So at first, though, I was just trying to get every little bird, no matter how obscure, just so I could have something in my 2025 list, because this is January 1st. And look, we got a ring-billed gull. I'm not going to be putting this on eBird. But there's our Carolina wren I was looking for earlier. And I do have recordings of it, and I think I'll do the audio recording stuff after. I think that'll make the most sense here. Here we go. So as I came back, I spent a whole bunch of time just trying to get this wren, Carolina wren, which was vocalizing, and I got some recordings of it, but really it's a really urban area. It looks very natural, but it's a very, when it comes to acoustics, very urban area alongside the Niagara Escarpment. And this Carolina wren, there was some cardinals and chickadees and stuff were around, but they were pretty far from me. The weather was not great for photography because it was, as you can tell, very overcast, and things just weren't hanging out near me. So the first bit were really terrible photos, but then I got up and out of that zone, started heading back to my car, and I at least got some pigeons just hanging out here. There's a neighborhood pigeons. 5, 10. Let's see if I got any good pigeon photos. I remember I took these thinking, oh, I got to take this now so that I can count how many there are, because I know by the time I get to my car, even though they're pigeons and it's a very basic bird, I do want to try to get all of the species I have seen onto eBird with at least a photo, even if it's not a good photo, just to start keeping track of that. That's why I have the little photo thing at the bottom right and the audio thing at the bottom right. That is going to be something where, actually, what I'll do here is we'll do a quick develop on this, just using auto settings. And wow, did that make OBS just blink for a second? That's the first time this computer's ever blinked doing anything. Okay, Ropey. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we're exporting that file and then move on to more interesting things here. Okay, we are going to go. Got our pigeons. Obviously, it was a pretty boring day at that point, but then I was like, hey, I can drive a little bit. So I went down to Princess Point. Now the names of the Gadwall. Okay, so these are mallards and gadwall. The first mallard photo of the year. Definitely first gadwall photo of the year. In fact, one of many. There's going to be many more coming up, so I'm not going to export these photos because I don't think I have any better ones for the week. Or no, I do have better ones for the week. Whereas with the rock pigeons, I did not have any better ones. So let's go into here. Mallards. Okay, so back in here we got some northern shovelers just hiding in there, and I think I have better photos of that in this collection, so we're going to go through, see if there's one that I can export. But there's an interesting comparison on size, so you don't realize how big mallards are compared to shovelers sometimes. Can't really see their shoveling beak so well in these photos, so I'd like to get one with a good shovel in it. Here we go. Now it's lower lighting, but you can see the big beak. We're going to get better photos than that though. Here we go. This is the female shoveler, male shoveler. From this angle, they don't look that different from the mallards, but they are a little smaller still, considering the mallards in the background. Let's see if we have any better photos here. Actually going to take this view just to see how many did we get of this area. Go back to here. Let's check in my photos here. Okay, or DMs. And there we go. All right, we got a good shoveler photo. Let's do something with that. So that's a male shoveler in this case. We're gonna start some cropping here. All right. I believe there's a second bird behind, and then this is probably an American black duck or a... I do think that's American black duck, actually. I'm going to go when that happens. All right. Well, I'm going to focus on the positive here. Hey, Colorama, welcome in. Thanks for reteaming early, Burb. Hope you're having a good day, Colorama. So, next bird we're going to go focused on is the mute swan. I'm going to actually auto do this. Bring this down. Bring this here. And there. All right. Mute swan. Okay. So I'm going to be using this photo for eBird after. And sorry if I'm slow. I'm trying to figure out what all that was. All right. Mute swan. Got a bunch of those. So this was in Princess Point this week. So bufflehead. It's a new species for the week and year. It's my first bufflehead of the year. I think there's more later, but I want to see if there's a good photo of this one in particular that we can pull in to make good use of. Let's see here. Knitting, thanks for the follow. I'm gonna trying to think whether so there was 2 there. I do have some better photos later. I think I'll do the later photos. Ooh, this one's a good one. And by the way, thanks for the yeah, that was supposed to be anonymous, but that was my bad. All right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna do auto. Export. We're going to throw another mute swan in. Continue. So this one was just resting. Go back. Oh, bald eagle. First bald eagle of the year. Okay. Poor photos, unfortunately. Now there's going to be some other bald eagles a little later, so I'm going to hold off on this one. I think. Unless we get... we got a little bit here. This is a ring-billed gull. I think the first one of the year here. Nope. That is the eagle. Believe. So okay, so we're going to go back to some of the first eagle photos here. One of the things we can look at is the big bill. So that'll tell you whether it's golden eagle or bald eagle. Yeah, so even though it's a blurry photo, it's probably too blurry to be certain. Yeah, we'll have to get some later photos, but bald eagle, immature ones don't have the white heads, so they'll be dark all over, and we're going to get a big bill versus a golden eagle, which would be a smaller bill on it. All right, ring-billed gull here. This one's actually okay as a photo. I'll probably have better ones for eBird later, but this might do for like a, hey, I've got a photo of a ring-billed gull this year kind of thing. So we'll upload that after. Billed gull. These are, of course, super wait. That may not be a ring-billed gull. Actually, I may have to rename that. Let me double check. I don't think that's a ring bill. I think that's a herring gull. That is definitely a herring gull. Okay, we're gonna I'll just make a new one. I'll remember not to upload that other as a ring build, because this photo is actually better. There we go. Go here. Do an auto on this. Whoa, okay, auto decided to be a little harsh. Yeah, there we go. That clearly shows. So it's AHGU is the new code for it. We changed the code recently for that bird. It's now the American herring gull. All right, so I, after walking around there, had my leg injury was still doing okay enough to drive to one more location. So I went another 10 minutes to somewhere, and place I have gotten a lot of photography at, which is owned by the university here, McMaster University, and I have probably tens of thousands of photos of the place, and I haven't been there too much recently, so I wanted to get back into it. I'm just seeing, do I have any? There we go. Yeah, this is the American tree sparrow, the first ones of the year. couple. We're going to have a couple decent photos, I think, of these. So we'll see if I can get a good pair shot here. Where there's going to be more than one. Okay. Develop, go here. That. I'll line this a little better. There we go. So it'd be nice if you could see the rest of the head of the other one, but I think this is a pretty good American tree sparrow photo. In fact, I think I want to make a duplicate of this, if I can do that. Photo. Where's the duplicate thing? Might be easier from the other interface. Go here. Where are you? There you are. Is there a duplicate button? This is create virtual copy. That's good enough. I then want to take this copy. We will crop in further. So I'd love to get a crop in of the one bird. And we can look at that photo. So, American tree sparrow. Very easy ID because it has a giveaway. You know, most sparrows, people get a little worried about identifying them because they're all just brown birds. This has a bicolored bill, and the only sparrow we get around here, at least, that has bicolored bill is the American tree sparrow. And sometimes a thing I like to do with photos like this. Now this bird does stand out pretty well in this photo. I think I talked about this last time where I do like to vignette photos a little bit. They're like this just to make it even better. I do like to be subtler than that though. So there we go. So even though that was just the 1/4 of the photo, it seems like I actually got a decent photo out of this one. With poor lighting, it was probably somewhat backlit, this bird, but and overcast, but this is actually not a bad one. I think I want to center it a little better. That went too far. Bring it over a little bit more. Cool. I'm going to export that as our American tree sparrow. And so those numbers at the bottom, what do you call it? Bottom right of the OBS, or sorry, not OBS. For you, it's the stream. For me, it's OBS. As I upload those to eBird later, those numbers will go up, so you'll see how much I've gotten this year. Welcome to Wells-ish. Hope you're having a good night. Ooh, Wells-ish, actually. There's a good question for you. Do you mind being modded? Just had a random incident earlier, and it'd be nice to have a mod in chat. Wells-ish. There you go, Wells. New mods are nice. Welcome in, Weed Stalker. Yeah, we had one of those streams that streams trolling other streams.
69 bits. New mods are nice.
So, which are really annoying to deal with. Yeah, so people coming in and asking bizarre questions and trying to get reactions and all that. And I noticed one of them was live and literally streaming my stream and them asking these questions. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I had no mods at the time to eat. That stuff's the worst. I haven't had that in a while. It's been a couple of years since I've been on one of those. Doesn't happen very often. I suspect it's because I'm on the just chatting category. And last time I did this, I did it in IRL, but that's not like necessarily the right category for this kind of thing. So we'll see what I do in the future with the categories for me. But okay, next bird. So these, this is a red-tailed hawk, but it's not going to be a very good. I'm not going to submit this to eBird and be like, believe me, red-tailed hawk, because this is not going to be something that is going to be very clear. Okay, yeah. I mean, I tried, but this red-tailed hawk got away. I'm sure if I zoomed in and all that, I could probably like clean that up a little bit and get some evidence, but it's not really that important to me to get extremely terrible photos to prove that I photographed a species. So, oh, Junco. Multiple Junco. So there's going to be more Junco photos later that are going to be from my backyard, and I think those will do good as this week's Junco photo. So unless there's a spectacular one in here. This is again McMaster Forest. Just hiking through. Ooh, that's an interesting photo. I love when I get like, I wonder what that one was. So was that a gull? Or was it another? Oh, it's crow or raven, one or the other. I think that's a crow. That is a crow. And then, what is this one? Is this crow again? Yeah. The same crow. Oh, and then we get the, looks like we got blurriness. Yeah, it's not just loading. It is blurry. Well, that's too bad. I mean, I got one alright photo. Why don't we develop that? Yeah, use that band hammer. Well, let's see. We'll go here. Go over here. Here we go. And I'm gonna use the auto thingy. Oh, that was terrible. Don't use that. So something like this, if you want to bring the bird out a little bit, bring shadows. Yeah, it's not great, but it is a crow photo that I wouldn't like say you can't tell that's American crow. It is a little interesting. So I'll keep it in my list. Kind of like how the feathers are sticking out, because this actually lets you differentiate it from fish crow, which I believe these fingers stick out more on this side. Which we do get them locally, but they're very rare. Welcome in, Vosh. Hope you're having a good night. Juncos. This is the feeder Juncos that I said I'd have better photos of. And yeah, look at this guy. This is the next day, so this is backyard feeder. Because I haven't been able to walk around too much, like I got out to those places because I was able to tolerate enough driving, because the problem is, like I said before, I can walk, but I can't really sit down for driving that well without getting in a very specific position, and that's partly why I'm standing for these streams, because sitting or laying down is icky right now. But I can watch my feeder really well. I'm just going to export that photo as is because it's actually pretty good. I don't think I need to develop it in any way. But let's get more. Look at this guy. This is a male, dark-eyed junco, also known as slate-colored junco, the subspecies of it. Because you'll notice with the emotes we have, you'll notice there's two kinds of juncos in there. That's the Oregon junco, and then the plain junco jam one is the slate-colored junco. And you're going to hear all those sounds now. So, and thanks again, by the way, Weed Stalker, for the bits. I forgot about that. I think I might have forgotten about that. Yeah, so slate-colored and Oregon junco used to be considered two separate species, and like 40, 50 years ago, they divided them up. They didn't divide them up. They brought them together, lumped them, as they call them. So lumps and splits are things you get in taxonomy in a lot of species, but this is a case where they determined the two junco species were essentially subspecies of the same species. Because they can interbreed, they have some overlap where they do interbreed, and it's just like they're not necessarily different plumages like you get in some things where, you know, there might be morphology like owls where some owls are gray and some are red, and it's just like, you know, happenstance what color they get, just like humans get different eye colors. But It is definitely a regional thing, but it's almost political to determine how you divide species and subspecies and all that. So it's a long deep dive, but I will say our local ones are the slate-colored juncos. So here's my white-throated sparrow. I have this in my backyard all winter so far. He or she is a immature bird because they have these streaks on them, which you only get in their first year, in their hatch year, as they call it. So now that the calendar's turn, it's technically after hatch year or second year. I might have some better photos of this bird though, because this is it on the ground feeding on the fallen. The thing about the juncos and the white-throated sparrows, they're actually closely related. Like this bird and this bird could mate and produce offspring. They have, like these species have before they produce hybrids. I don't know if those hybrids are actually viable, because a lot of cases with hybrids is they're just inviable and they're kind of a dead end. But these two species are closely enough related that that can happen. And they act somewhat similarly. So they like to be on the ground, which is why this one's in a tray feeder and not at one of those hanging feeders. Well, this is hanging, but it's, not hanging off the side of a feeder that has a hole in it or something like that. This one's sitting on a platform feeder that happens to hang. And this one's on the ground, which is that's the type of thing they prefer, scratching at the ground, foraging from things on the ground. These kinds of birds prefer that kind of thing. So if you have just one of those, hang up feeders that has like all the seeds contained in a container that just, allows the seed to fall out to a small tray or something, and the bird has to sit on a perch. Juncos are not going to prefer that, and certainly the white-throated sparrows are definitely not going to prefer that. Whereas if you have like a flat platform, or you just have seed falling off your feeder, then they'll be down below it. How often those unions, divisions of species occur? Oh my God, sometimes every year, depending on the debate and the species. So with the juncos, that was quite a while ago. There is one comparable thing I can think of in a warbler called the yellow rumped warbler, which used to be myrtle warbler and Audubon's warbler, and there's like another one version of it. They got lumped into this yellow rumped warbler complex like 40, 50 years ago, but now with genetics and like DNA and like analyzing all that, there's starting to be some support for splitting them up again and going, well, no, really, myrtle warbler is their own thing and Audubon warbler is their own thing. Yeah, they hybridize and their hybrids are viable, but like, are they divided? They might be divided enough. It's really like, it's almost semantics to some extent. It's very like, it's really hard to nail down what a species is sometimes, because there's still genetic flow between the populations going on in some way. And to define like what divides a species actually occurs in two fronts too with birds, because there's birding, the recreational activity, and then there's the scientific study, ornithology. And so the scientists might consider two things a species, while the birders consider them like two separate species. And the opposite can happen. It gets really like weird. But yeah, it's interesting because of all the genetics and stuff. But there is at least one union that tries to unify all those into. So data aggregation, yeah. So there's actually an annual update of the taxonomy lists, and lists plural. There are multiple authorities on this, but eBird uses one in particular for like the birding checklists and things like that, and they update every November. But the actual changes by committee happen in August, and they deal with the names of the birds too. So I mentioned earlier we came across a herring gull, which I still have to get more used to calling the American herring gull, because it used to be the herring gull until this year, or 2024, was considered just a worldwide species. Now they're dividing Eurasian herring gull from the North America, but we're calling it American. It is definitely a new gull DLC. So now we got this American herring gull and this Eurasian herring gull, and the year previous, same thing happened with goshawk, which used to be northern goshawk. Now it's American goshawk and Eurasian goshawk, I believe. So this also happened like 20 years ago with wrens. Like the wren was originally just called the the very first wren ever like named was just called wren. I know that's not doesn't sound surprising, but it's kind of weird looking in some of the UK guides and seeing something just called wren and that's it, no name beyond that. But that wren is kind of circumpolar. It's all around the northern half of the hemisphere. Well, I guess there's some parts where they go to the south too. But maybe 20, 30 years ago, they decided, okay, let's make Eurasian wren and winter wren and Pacific wren to represent these. Those seem to be the divides for those species. I don't remember why they determined that, but that one got divided differently because North America got 2 wren species out of it. So I've found and seen and recorded even a Pacific wren. I've certainly recorded and seen many winter wren, which is basically the eastern population one. I've never seen the Eurasian one, but yeah, so this stuff happens a lot. And there's a whole like just subgenre of birding that has to do with taxonomy and understanding the relatedness of species. Oh, this is a good photo of our little friend, the white-throated sparrow. So again, there's actually nothing in the plumage, I don't believe, that I can use to determine whether it's male or female. All I can tell you is this is a tan stripe. This is something I talked about in my last stream, where the white-throated sparrow has 4 sexes. Weirdly enough, this is another recent discovery, as in maybe 6-7 years ago, that there are basically 2 plumages for each sex, and each one is attracted to the opposite plumage of the opposite sex, so it never breeds itself out. So this tan stripe, if it's a male, it's going to be attracted to white striped females, and if it was a white striped male, it'd be attracted to tan striped females. And because this keeps going on and on and on, this plumage variation never actually breeds out of the population. It's really interesting and weird. Yep. it's a strange, like when they discovered that, it just makes you think, wow, okay, what is going on what else is going on we don't know anything about? Although it has been noted for quite some time how strange it is that nobody could really nail down what was the difference between the tan stripe and the white stripe, because it clearly wasn't a geographical thing. It wasn't like the white stripes were coming from eastern North America and the tan stripes from western North America or something like that. It was just they were both everywhere, and nobody could quite figure out what was going on until they got into like really, really studying just this one species, which there's a lot of bird species out there. So someone had to finally do the groundwork and get out in the field and observe and determine what birds were mating with each other just to even figure this out. So it's kind of funny it took that long with such a common species, but there's just so many species to study. So this is actually a pretty good photo of this one. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's throw in a white-throated sparrow for upload later. And gonna go here. Yeah, I decided to take a bunch of photos because I wasn't sure what was going to turn out good. These photos are taken through a window, so there's going to be a little tiny bit of like lack of clarity to them just from that fact. So you're front through the back door for me. Oh, why is this so dark? Oh, this is later in the day. This is when there's no longer light directly on the. So this is me trying to get a house finch. Oh, and I also probably was using the wrong setting. Yeah, I was using the wrong setting. Okay, I like that photo. This is a house finch, male. Young male at that. Not much red on them. I think this means it's a young one. Either that or just not very well plumaged yet. They have to... In rare cases, interbreeding, are the offspring viable? Yeah, it depends on the species too. So with like the white rumps or the yellow rump warbler I mentioned earlier, yeah, they're totally viable. There's one of them. My favorite cases is and it might help if I visualize this for you. So give me a second here, and I'll put up the. I'm gonna look up something here, and I'll bring it up. Blue wing warbler. Blue wing warbler, there we go. Alright, so, and I'll bring up my Safari window. There we go. Okay, this species here. And I'm actually going to make a second. Let's see. We're going to look up the golden wing warbler. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. Go back. We're going to compare these two. All right, so this bird, they look completely different. Look at that plumage. They look like two completely different things. But I think personally it is possible in the next few years that these could become, someone could put a proposal in to say these two are the same species, call it the variable warbler or something like that, because these two can completely, they can interbreed. Their offspring are viable and produce a completely different plumage, and they can, like one species can breed the other out, and in fact that's what's happening in some areas. For a long time in this region where I live, these ones have been breeding out these ones, as the females have been preferring male blue-winged warblers over the males of their own species. They have slightly different songs, but very similar voices. And in fact, this one will sing the song of both species sometimes. So it kind of cheats. And this one has a more limited habitat range that they can handle, which actually puts them somewhat at risk. And I suspect part of the reason they're not separating them as species is that it could cut off some funding from federal governments, provincial governments, state governments, because they are less interested in saving subspecies over saving species. So it could be that could be why they haven't split or lumped them together into one. Plus, it would be confusing for birders to be like, yeah, that's the variable warbler that has all kinds of plumages. So these are just the males of them too. But I'm pretty sure if I scroll down here, there's going to be something. There's got to be something about the plumages, identifications, similar species. They don't have that there. Plumages, molts. So they got it. Yeah, here we go. Male Brewster's warbler. Here's one of the hybrids. So they call it Brewster's warbler because back in the day, people just didn't know this wasn't another species because they'd see it so often because these things interbreed so often. They'd be like, oh, this is another species of warbler. But no, they thought it was really rare, too. It was like, rarely see this thing. But no, this is actually the interbreeding. It says here F2 back cross with golden wing. So we're getting into terminology about like when we're breeding species, like, if you're doing horse breeding or cattle or anything like that, you talk about these back cross and things like that. So yeah, that's like an example of one of the, there's actually a bunch of different variations they can have, and then depending on what they breed with after that, they'll start going in the direction of one species or another. Thanks, Monster Stash. Have a good night. So yeah, that's a little bit about kind of one of my favorite warbler, a little rabbit hole about one of my favorite warbler hybrids that we get. And I've gotten photos of some of those before. I'm actually going to crop out. We're going to do an auto on this because I don't think I have any better. I'm probably going to be proven wrong here, but whoops, that's not the right thing. There we go. Goofy, there we go. House finch. And back to library. So this is a male house finch. Again, at my feeder. Oh yeah, next photo he took off. I got one good photo and he's like, I'm out of here. Pretty typical. Got a female northern cardinal here. Kind of dark, but I want to see if I probably have a better one somewhere. Yeah, this one's kind of blurred. Probably because I was going through the window. No photos, please. This one I like. This was taken from a distance, but through the window, and yet it still turned out pretty good. It's a male northern cardinal. I'll throw a little auto on that. Yeah, I like that one. Let's keep that. Okay. This will go up after library. Let's go back. Yep, northern cardinal. So that's the male. The female, this here, a little more like cream-ish color. I don't know what you'd call that. I always think of it as bronze, kind of. kind of bronzish with a little bit of red in it. Oh, it's the VA state bird? Okay, that's good to know. Oh, I like these two species photos sometimes. Both chowing down here. So we got the white-throated sparrow hanging out with the cardinal. Ohio too, several. Yeah, that's true. I think cardinal's like the state bird in several states, actually, come to think of it. I have heard that fact before. Okay, well, here's a good herring gull. That's definitely can count as my good photo for the year for a herring gull. This has got the little red lip on it. A little bit of lipstick. Let's do an auto on this. This one was the next day, I believe, and I can't remember where the location is, but yeah, there we go. New banding code. It's going to throw me off. We will use unique names. Northern Cardinals Unite, exactly. Now, there's multiple sports teams called Cardinals, right? Oh, this was today, I think, actually. Come to think of it. 5th, yeah, okay. So we're getting to today's stuff. We're getting near the end, although this is a little longer because I got a nice walk in finally. So I couldn't really go anywhere until like 3 today because I was just like, could not get in the car and drive more than 2 minutes. But after I got a long walk somewhere, it's like I drove a bit and I was like, yeah, this isn't good enough. I'll just go to the nearest park. I walked for like half an hour. Then I was in the car and I was like, yeah, I'm good enough for like a 10-minute drive. And I made it to somewhere and I was able to walk for like 2 hours, no problem. Leg felt great. Once I get in the car again, I'm like, yeah, I have about 10 minutes. And that was my ride home. I had about 10 minutes before the pain was like, oh boy, that's a lot. So here's a good mallard, actually. This is not a bad photo of a mallard. We're going to go here. Auto. Yeah, I'm going to export that one. This is a male mallard. Continue. Oh, here we go. Told you there'd be a better, what do you call it? Bald eagle photo. So, I have to bring up the shadows here. I'm going to bring that down. Well, I'll see what the auto wants to do with it. Yeah, it doesn't want to do anything good. I don't think auto on this application knows what to do with this kind of situation. I think what we do is bring that up, bring this down just a bit, and then we're going to crop heavily on this one. So we'll crop in, go here, and yeah, it's not bad. Not a great photo, but we can see this is a probably now second year. It would have been a first year. Or not golden eagle, bald eagle. So let's. But you know what we can do is I can quickly bring up Safari again. We'll take a little quick look on Birds of the World at the bald eagle plumages. I think they'll have that there. So yeah. Let's take a look here. So that's the exact kind of thing we're seeing there. And then this is what it is when it gets to its like second year, third year. That's probably, that's beyond fourth year. I think that's fifth year. But I think they've got it this intentionally in order here. This is what a bald eagle looks like in its first year. And then it gets whiter and whiter in its second year, even whiter in its third year. Now the fourth year they start turning into this, but there's a transition period too, so I guess they didn't want to put that in. But yeah, that gives us an idea that this is probably in the realm of a, hey, welcome in Birdman. There we go. Okay. Work with bald eagles. Yeah, they are huge to work with close up. There is a raptor sanctuary near here. I would love to stream in there, but every time I've walked in there, the signal is terrible. But you can get right up to a bald eagle. And they're in captivity because they're actually injured. They're being either recuperated or just like they're unable to be released because they're just that badly injured. They wouldn't survive in the wild. So they're used for educational purposes there with the Conservation Authority. But some of them do get released sometimes. So they have all kinds of different raptor species there. Okay, we'll have to get at least one Canada goose photo, I guess. And this can be the one, I guess. We'll use this one for the list and see how many we end up with. Oh, wait, I gotta double click. There we go. That tag. Perfect. You can see the dinosaur. Yes, definitely. Now, if I could get, I do have some closer photos of bald eagle myself, but yeah, you've seen them in the thing I just showed from Birds of the World. They just, yeah, they're just amazing. So what do we get next here? I think this was more, yeah, this was the second bald eagle. There was two of them hanging out. Now I got photos of them flying near each other, and I was hoping they'd swoop around each other in some way, but they didn't do it. Best I could get, I think. If I zoom out, no, it's not in there. Let's see. Let's go back. Yeah, I think it's photos like this where you can barely see it here. I have to really zoom in, but this and this are two different bald eagles. Both the same age, so I assume they're siblings. Both just young ones that hatched from the same nest, probably. Oh, half a wint. What would a wint be? Or is that a typo? Or half a wing, I'm assuming. Let her roam the animal hospital, see. Yeah, wing. Okay, cool. Who charge after you? Oh, no. Yeah, they can be pretty aggressive, I'm sure. Oh, wow. Like double crested cormorant without the crest, of course. Now I know I have better photos of that cormorant, so I'm going to skip ahead to those, but they're actually, we should talk about these just briefly. So this is not very common around here in the winter, but we get a few of these. It's double crested cormorant. They actually have to kind of hang out like this every once in a while to dry off because they don't produce the natural oils that keep their wings from getting wet because they sacrifice the ability to basically waterproof their wings, and they sacrifice that in order to get deeper in the water and pick things right off the bottom. So the trade-off is they actually have to dry off, which is why you sometimes see them with their arms spread out drying off, and you don't see that with other birds that dive because the other birds are essentially have waterproof wings. But it's not as easy for those birds to dive very far, whereas the cormorant's going to get to the real bottom on a really deep spot. And we got a red-breast merganser here. This is actually pretty good red-breast merganser. It's a little dark, but this was a dark day today. And it was late in the day. Let's see if that'll... Yeah, it does okay. I feel like I want to bring up the shadows a little more. I'm gonna find where that is in the, okay. Where that is in the spectrum. I think the other thing I want to do is bring this up and then we'll do some vignetting. And we'll do a little bit of that, a little bit of this, bring in the midpoint. Yeah, that's not terrible. It's a little washed out, but oops, that should be our, whatever. I'll know what I meant. Okay, we got some coots, but I got better coot photos after this. It's more of the merganser. I didn't get too many of them today. Just a handful. Alright, but back to this cormorant. I know I had more photos of. Let's see what my best... There we go. I like these ones. This one let me get a lot closer than the other birds. Wow. So you can see the blue eyes in this one. So let's see. Crop in just a slight bit. I always love their eyes. They're such interesting eyes in them. Of course, the light wasn't bright enough to really make them stand out as much as they usually do, but I'm going to save that and upload it after. good example photo. Of course, we're used to seeing those black, but winter you get a lot of these young birds who have brown in them. I want to see, did we get some more? Yeah, it was a little bit blurry. Getting a little blurry. Okay. Oh, that one's not bad either. They're really interesting bills. And they're hooked like that. Also, these guys will eat the biggest fish you can imagine. Like, if they can somehow find a way to fit it down their throat, they will eat it. And sometimes it looks, you can be concerned looking at one, because they will take down things that you think there's no way that isn't going to be choked by that giant fish, and yet it will still find a way to, basically, if it can get something in its mouth, it will swallow it whole if it can. They are very ambitious, and it's very weird watching them try something like that. Exactly, Weed Stalker. They just open wide and tip their head up. I've watched some struggle for 20, 30 minutes to try to swallow something. Try to get it down its throat, and then it's like wiggles away a little bit, and then it has to re-catch it and all that. And they're just really ambitious when it comes to that. This one's a pretty good photo. Oh, wow. Yeah, get in my belly, exactly. I developed this because this looks really nice too. Actually, I kind of like the location shot, so I actually don't want to change anything about the cropping. I actually framed this one pretty good. Let's see what Otto says. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's a good photo. I'll throw in a second double-crested cormorant. Yeah, I gotta take even though it's a very common species here, sometimes I'm just like, I've got tons of photos of those, I'm sure. But it's been years since I've really taken good photos of these species, because sometimes I do get that attitude of like, well, I've seen tons of them. But in the winter, I get a real good chance to get closer to them, because they have a harder time finding food, so they'll end up hanging around near where people are more often. Here's our scop. So this is something we're going to have to ID, because there are two different kinds of scop species this could be. Let me see if I can find a guide for IDing them. Greater scop versus lesser scop, because honestly I do not remember anymore. And All About Birds will tell us about that. So I'm going to bring that up here. There's a site called All About Birds. And we got our greater scop and lesser scop. And yeah, okay. So you can tell these birds look almost identical. Like, I mean, you'll see, the only difference here is the photo. You'll notice some iridescence here, but that's just because of the angle of the bird and everything. I mean, these species look very similar. They're actually two different species. The difference is this crest in the head, believe it or not. A little, not even crest, just a peak. And that's the lesser. So when I wrote down on my eBird list was greater, because I thought I remembered that round was greater and that kind of angled was lesser. Because greater, rounding seems bigger than a not rounding. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. There could be also a size differentiating if you had them right next to each other, so who knows. But yeah, this looks rather round to my eyes. It looks very round, so this is definitely a greater scop, and I guess I was right about that. So let's see here, bring that up. These are kind of seabird kind of things. Even though the Great Lakes is freshwater, we get these kinds of things around here. Autumn. Yeah, that brightened it up nicely. Since the lighting isn't great, I love to vignette stuff like this. So that looks rather extreme, but I like to what's called feathering. It'll make it a lot more subtle. And also, actually, if we change this to paint overlay, that actually makes it even more subtle. So there we go. That's a good greater scop. All right, you're a good greater scop. What do we got next here? We have a coot. Several coots. I think I have some better photos later, but I'm not sure of that, actually. It's a little blurry. This one's a little overexposed. I guess that could be fixed. Just don't know for sure if I have a better one. Oh, this one's not terrible. This could be saved. Not sure if this is something I'd put on social media, but I'd put it on eBird. Did auto help? I guess it did. I'll bring this. No. Let's see. It's hard to tell sometimes what you want to do. I think vignetting's going to save this one a bit more too. Bring this to paint overlay. Bring in the midpoint. Feather this a lot. Change the roundness a bit. And I think we need to crop it a little more. Whoops. Undo. I think we need to crop this. Wait, what's going on here? Crop. Oh, this is the whole... Okay, I thought I had already cropped it or something. I did not. Okay, that actually is a little bit better. It's not great, but I'll do for... Is it American Coot? I think it's American Coot. I got so used to just call them coots. I've got some mallards hanging out. It's a good couples photo here. Male and female. Oh yeah, and I decided to take a little bit of a location shot just so you could tell where it is I'm doing the photographing from. So that's actually what I'm looking at. And this camera is just zooming in on things real close. So just to give you a sense of the habitat here. Let's keep going. Alright, and the loon. This is something we're going to need to identify because there are 3 possible species of loon that could be in the harbor right now. And that's really strange to say, considering like 10 years ago it'd be like, no, there's 1 species. But now we have a lot going on. For the last 3 years, a Pacific loon keeps showing up, even though we're nowhere near the Pacific Ocean. Common loon is also obviously common in this area, although that's not why it's named that, but you know. And then red-throated loon is another possibility, and they won't have the red throat in the winter, so. Okay, so what do we got here? Let's see if we can get a photo that is good for identifying. I want the clearest possible photo. I think one of these was the best. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up a comparison thing. I don't think that's red-throated at all. Common loon versus Pacific loon. Okay, Pacific, so we'll bring this up on Safari here. Okay, it's not going to be like red throat. Also, we need the winter plumage. Common loon. Okay. Wonder if this is... Okay, we have a more... Oh, that's an immature, too. I gotta not do an immature. I want a winter bird. Give me a winter bird. Here we go. Non-breeding. Dagger-like bill, held horizontally. Some birds don't molt into breeding plumage. Really? Huh. And then larger with a thicker bill. Jagged collar around the neck. Okay, so thicker bill versus a dagger bill. I do think this is the dagger bill one. Well, we're going to look at more of those photos after, because there's going to be more loon photos in a bit. There we go, common golden eye. Got a whole bunch of these too, so I'm going to scroll down and see if we got a better one. I also got a bunch of a gull here. I was trying to see if that was a blackback gull, and it turned out not to be. Here we go. Some more golden eyes. Kind of not the greatest lighting on them, but I mean, it's an interesting environment. Looks nice and cold there, which it very much was. I actually kind of like this photo because it really looks cold, and it was cold. So why don't we work on this a little bit. I'm going to use auto, see what it says about this. That actually is a good choice. Okay. Bring this up. I wonder if I could crop in a little more, get away with it. It's going to get a little more. Yeah, let's zoom in now. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's a little grainy, but I'm expecting that with most of these late in the day photos. This is the Kogo. This is the male common goldeneye. I might have some interesting video of them in a bit. We'll see how it turned out. Oh yeah, in this group. Okay, and on top of that, this, for some reason today, somebody was out in the harbor with their sailboat. I don't know why. It's like -2, -3, which isn't that bad, but the wind chill was like -15. Like, it's super duper cold. More family albums, yeah. And here's a whole bunch of gadwalls. All together. All getting some food. I got some better close-up, though, of them. Even though they're considered kind of the drab type of duck, I do like them a lot. I don't know, it's the pattern and the kind of silkiness to their look is really interesting. Let's see how many good photos we have of these. And I don't get to see gadwall that close up very often. They didn't seem to mind me being close up to them. Not as much as the mallards did, which is kind of weird. Mallards got a little antsy when I was taking photos. Duck butts in the air. This is a female. I think that's a female gadwall. Let's see if we got any good, like, solid photos out of those. Okay, so it looks like the best of them. I don't know if that's the best of the photos. Yeah, it might have been previous. Yeah, I think these photos worked out a little better. I like this one. It's like one profile. Give it a little bit of environment, a little thing there. What does Otto want to say? Hey, that helped actually quite a bit. Okay. I don't know if vignetting is going to help this, but it'll help a little bit, I guess. Paint. I'll just do a tiny bit of it. Yeah, we'll call that a gadwall. Continue. Okay. Getting near the end of this week of birds in the photos department, but I do have some audio to review in a little bit here. It's another gadwall, I believe, female. Another coot. Something was flying around. Oh, this is the third bald eagle that was at this location. This one's older. It's got a lot. You can, even though this photo isn't very good, you can tell there's more white going on. It is a second or third year bird, I think. Oh, and I love this. I had to stop to get this photo of this woodpecker pecking at like a plant. It's not even wood. It's a dead plant. They do this once in a while, especially in the winter. And wow, this photo turned out good. This is a female, and she's picking away at the stalk of some kind of big plant. But you'll find this sometimes. If a plant can support the weight of a woodpecker, it will still peck inside, because there's probably going to be larvae in there, like holding out through the winter. Because a lot of these stalks of these plants are hollow, and there'll be bugs, larvae inside, or eggs and things like that. And so they'll drill their way in to get those, get that food. Give this a little bit of vignetting. Feather it out a bit. Around this guy here. Maybe I'll bring this down, give it the more letterboxed look to it. Maybe I need to crop in just a bit more. Get a little picky sometimes. Ooh, that looks too low. Yeah, that's good. Give this a little bit of brightness, slight bit of shine to it, a little bit of contrast. This is a downy woodpecker. All right. And I think I got a recording there too. Audio recording. Some common mergansers out in the water. Didn't really get them close up. Oh, okay. Let's see what this video has on it. So I'll probably have some audio with it. So what I'm going to do, let's see. We're going to mute that audio. We're going to bring in Lightroom. Okay, there we go. See if this works. Should be able to hear this as well. So you can hear a chickadee. And notice that duck on the left. Oh, there he did it. All right, so we got to go back because I know that it's. So this duck over here on the left. Watch him. He's doing a mating dance. And that's what I was trying to capture in video because they're so hilarious to watch when they do that. I don't think I'm allowed to zoom on this. If I do it this way, do you guys see it? No, wait. Can I not do that in this application? Maybe I can. Oh, there we go. That doesn't work on OBS. Okay. I guess I'll just have to tell you one more time here. Take a look at the top left. And watch that bird. That's the kind of mating dance of the common goldeneye. And they just keep their head low as they paddle around. And I think I saw another one do it, and I tried to catch it, but then I decided not to do it. Exactly, Schmonite. Welcome in, Schmonite. So, did I capture it here? There seems to be a second video, so we're going to load that up. See what we get. Got two females and a male. Females on the left there. Oh, they're going in. I don't know if they're doing the whole thing. Yeah, and then they dive. So sometimes they do that, and it's almost like the Jaws thing. It's like they're going in and just stealthily trying to sneak by. And then they dive. I don't know what they're doing. It seems to be part of this whole, like, mating ritual thing. She's cleaning her food or something. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I'm gonna put the other sound back on for a bit, but we'll have be going through some audio soon. I gotta wait for Lightroom here to catch up. Here we go. More common mergansers. What was that sound? Huh, I don't know what that sound was. It sounded almost like a Windows sound, but I'm not running Windows right now, I don't think. Oh, here's a wren. So I got a really poor photo of a wren earlier in the week, but this is a better one. It's not great. Definitely a better one. Oh yeah, we can zoom in on that. This is a Carolina wren. Super loud birds normally. This one wasn't too loud today. Didn't want to look at me, just looking the other way, it looks like. Let's do a little bit of vignette. Just a little soft bit of that, and then should I use auto? See what happens. Yeah, that's not terrible. It seems to brighten the colors up a bit. So it's a Carolina wren. And black ducks. A pair of them. Pair them together. There's probably a male and female here, and I can't remember exactly the plumage difference. I feel like the males are darker or something like that. Guess I'm going to have to do it wide like that. There's going to have to be a lot on the top there. Alright, it's not terrible. Yeah, I think this one's the male. They're so closely related to mallards, but the genomics on ducks is weird. Like, mallards can breed with just about any other duck. They're kind of like the generic duck that seems to be able to hybridize with everything. It's really strange. It's almost like maybe they're an ancestral species that, you know, divided but not enough. Oh, we're going to have another audio potential here, so I'm going to turn that off, turn this on. Let's see what we have here. Oh, right. I started recording these because I saw them doing the head bobbing thing. And they stopped doing it. They were doing this head bobbing in unison, which is kind of a mating thing. Kind of just a pair bonding kind of activity. And swans will do this too, and other ducks, where they just swim alongside each other, float alongside each other, and dip each other's heads at the same time, simultaneously. And this is interesting, yeah. And then this mallard is like, no, you stay down. So here's another interesting thing. This male is not a pure American black duck, actually. This is a hybrid. Because that cap is actually a green cap. I just noticed this now. That green cap only happens in hybrids between. So this is not a pure black duck. It's a mallard crossed with a black duck. So, and that's a very common hybrid. It's not surprised I've found that. Let's bring in some sound again. Oh, here's our loon. Oh, and it has some fish. Oh, that's really nice. Look at that back. You can actually see the back and everything. All right, I'm going to bring up my comparison thing again. I would say that with that back, this is probably a common loon then. Oh, maybe not. Let's see, non-breeding. I'm just looking through the thing, and I'll bring it up in a second when I can find some good comparisons. The chin. Okay, all right, we'll bring this up. So you can see here. So the reason I'm saying this is this back in the non-breeding Pacific loon looks pretty dark. Whereas here it's pretty mottled in the common loon. And if we go back to my photo, we're seeing a mottled back on here. And I'm not seeing like a collar on it. So I'm going to call this one a common. At the time, that's what I thought, even though it's super far. Because I'm not lucky enough to find the one rare thing that's hanging around also. Actually, I'm going to zoom in more than that. Let's really zoom in there. This one's chowing down on a fish too. Still cool that I found the common. Maybe it's a new species for the year. Like, these are all new species for 2025 for me. So I'm sure I can go and get the common loon anytime, or the Pacific loon anytime I want, because I just basically check the email lists or discords that have to do with birding, and somebody will have it listed. Common loon. I like that I got this photo from such a distance too. Like, this is almost a kilometer away, I think. This bird. Like, anywhere from 800 meters to a kilometer away, I would guess, is how far away this bird was. Just super, super, super zoomed. Because even with the zoom all the way out and the 60 times zoom, that's the most I could fit on it with just optical zoom. Of course, digital zoom, you can go as far as you want, but like, that's the end of the optics. Is there another one of it eating fish here? Yeah. Chowing down on fish. And then it started getting a little more sunny. We have these trumpeter swans flying by. And I got it going by the sailboat. I wonder what's the other flag it's flying. It's flying Canadian, but something else too. Is that Swedish? Oh, we have female common, or sorry, yeah, common goldeneye. Female common goldeneye. Yeah, so knitting, all the photos I'm going through was this week. These are from today, these last ones I'm doing. So this is just a few hours ago, actually. This is like about a half hour to an hour from sunset even. It's another common goldeneye, in this case a female common goldeneye. Doesn't have the white blop on there. The white cheek, I guess, is what you would call it. Here's like a view of what the actual place looks like at this time of day that I was taking photos from. And this is Hamilton Harbor. Across the way there is the Burlington Skyway Bridge. And then on the other side of that bridge is Lake Ontario. Here's a group of common goldeneyes. Lots and lots of common goldeneyes. I think I counted about 70 of them total in the groups that I saw. We got some coots here. Let's see. That's an okay photo of one. Oh yeah, and I got another male downy woodpecker. It's pecking away at a hollow stem, it looked like. It was so, the lighting was terrible, so like there might be some blurred photo. Oh, I got video. Okay, let's see what this sounds like too. Let's, yeah, we'll use that. Pecking away. Having a good time. Muscovy ducks? Yeah, occasionally. They are at the farms and things like that too, so that's it's common like game duck, I think, around here. I think that's the gadwall. Yeah, gadwall females. With the male gadwall. More common goldeneye. Yeah, here's just to show you a sense of the flock. Some of the common goldeneye. That's them kind of spread out. And more of a cluster photo here of them. There's a mallard mixed in for size, I guess. A lot of males. It's usually more males in these flocks than female. About 4 females total. There's another cluster group of them. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, still just like 4 females in this group, maybe 5. A little closer up. You can see their telltale golden eyes in the photo though. What they're named after. It was a mallard for some reason. It's a Canada geese, because I wasn't sure if I'd gotten any photos of them yet. Oh, and my bufflehead for the day. Did I get a good angle on this bufflehead at any point? Not really a good photo. I think I might save that for another week in terms of photos, unless I... Oh yeah, here's an amusing photo, I think. Got a gold... Oh, so that's blurry. Hopefully the other ones aren't so blurry. Oh, that's blurry too. Oh, there we go. This is just the hiding goldeneye hiding behind a rock. And then disappearing beneath the rock there. I just thought that was a fun photo to take. You could give this photo to any birders who know ducks very well and ask them what species is this, and they'll know. Well, okay. It's one of 2 species, and if they're really high experts, they could tell you exactly which one, but because there is Barrow's goldeneye as well too. But I think Barrow's goldeneye, the white patch actually comes up to look like a comma and comes above the eye a little bit, so that would stick out still. So I'm pretty sure you'd be able to nail that as a common goldeneye from that photo alone. Oh, this is a decent goldeneye photo. I like how he's just conquered down somewhat. They got such great plumages in the winter. It's like most songbirds, of course, they go into their winter plumage, which is usually dull, so they can just hide and not be standing out because they're not trying to attract a mate. They're not trying to breed or anything like that. Whereas ducks, while they don't mate during this season, they do pair up during this season. So it's important for the males to have their plumage all ready and going in the winter. And so they'll be at their brightest at the time. So that's why ducks can be so interesting in the winter. Let's see what this sounds like here. This looks like a short video. He's going to take a dive on it. I think I was expecting that he might do the mating thing where he tips his head up and has his bill go back and forth like that mouse would. He's just taking a dive. Going to get some food. Or going somewhere else. Okay. Oh, right. This was actually, I knew a bit about this, but I didn't know the full details. That where I was walking used to be a boathouse community up until the 40s. So it was like all these like ramshackle like little community down there that were just not very good, very well constructed homes, and that people would go by boat from these homes to the city. And this is what the location looks like today. But this is the photo they had of like, they don't know what year this photo was taken, but I presume the 20s or 30s was when this was taken. This is the exact same location. So this is about 100 years difference potentially. 90 to 100 years difference between these two photos. And here's another way to look at it too. It's basically the same. It should be roughly the same angle, these two photos. Only dabblers are in there. Hey, welcome in, Mega Bassist. It's cool to see one diving. Oh yeah, you need the deep water for them. And I didn't photograph this a ton, but there were a lot of these beaver remnants around where the beavers were taking apart a lot of the trees along the shoreline. Very active locally. And what do we got here? This is a female goldeneye, I believe. This is when the light was really getting low, so it was getting kind of rough. Oh, hey. This one decided to give me a good... Oh, that's a cool photo. So we have a... Even though it's super dark, like the ISO went way high on this. Like I've set it auto ISO. Wow, that might be... Well, you know what? I don't mind a bit of grain sometimes. But if we darken this a bit, maybe this grain... the model of camera I use for this is obviously it's not going to be mirrorless, not DSLR, because I just wanted it in my pack. It has this small sensor but long zoom potential of like goes up to like the equivalent of 1200 millimeters, whatever it is. The downside is you get this kind of graininess, but that's because I have mine set in RAW and not JPEG, so it'll give this graininess. It won't try to do compression and all that. And I actually, at first I was like, I don't know about the style, but over the years I've really come to actually appreciate this style of photo that I get out of it. It does kind of remind me a bit of film grain. And I've gotten away from this notion of me eventually replacing everything with DSLR or mirrorless or something. I mean, I might eventually get myself one, but I don't think I would replace it as my main camera. It'd be more of a toy for me to get something that's the big giant lenses you carry around, because I would never be able to just carry that with me everywhere. I want the one I can toss in the side pack kind of thing. I like this kind of photo. Common goldeneye, Sokogo. Unique names. All right. And I do know I have a couple more good photos left here. Today was very productive, because the rest of the week I got through that in just a few minutes, but today's stuff, there's quite a bit. There's a bunch of coots I was following. But here's, oh yeah, there's some coot. Let's look at the coot video. I think this cuts off because a runner ran past me. Let's see here. Let's do that. some coots just heading down the shore. It's kind of funny. You can see them paddling with the way they bob. That's me right. I'm in the way of someone else. Because someone else was about to get in the way. All right. This was one of my targets for the day, though. There's always an a northern mockingbird hanging around in this area. Yeah, here, joggers. So let's see if we got any good photos, because this is the sun. Like, this is 4:41, so this is technically, I think, like 5 or 10 minutes from sunset. Like, it's not. It's just a glowing light because of clouds, basically, at this point. Yeah, you borrow the DSLR for insects, spiders, birds when you can. Older but nice. But yeah, carrying the lenses can be a definite hassle. Yeah, yep. And I carry around audio recorders too, and then binoculars and all that. So I got to limit the size of things I have around with me. Okay, it looks like I got an okay photo of this guy. All right, so I'll get to that in a second, because that was amusing. Let's it's my first mockingbird of the year. Oh, that cleaned it up a lot, because I got the correct color, actually, using auto there. Because they should be more gray, and it was looking brownish. Let's bring this up a bit. Bring this down. And bring this in. Yeah, let's bring a little... So I'm going to lighten that a bit. We'll go with color priority. Rounding, we'll feather... We'll bring the midpoint in-ish. Feather it. Now, if I wanted to get really fancy, and this is what I do sometimes, you can do a subject thing. Yeah, and it'll select the bird, and you can go, hey, let's just brighten the bird up, and that's it. And then I could also go into this area and just try to brighten the eyes up and make them a little more yellow, for example. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it's one of the little tricks you can do in this. Northern mockingbird, Nomo. He's a little drab looking today, but, you know, lighting wasn't great. Cool. So this was amusing to see. Yeah, Canada goose in its natural habitat, right? These guys are just hanging out at the train yard on top of trains for the night. Maybe it's what they consider to be safe, I guess, from predators. Just standing up there because, you know, they can see everything around them. Why fly when you can ride? Yeah, I know. They might be getting a ride too. I don't know. Like this looking at me. This is not the only spot the geese were, of course, because I have another. Like these ones were lording. It looked like they were lording over this flock, who's over here just like basically chewing at grass. And these other ones like, ah, suckers, I'm getting the train out of here. Meanwhile, these ones are sitting there eating grass. I was trying to get a photo, but it didn't work there. Motion photo. Oh yeah, you can actually watch them eat grass here. Let's get that. It's so weird to see because they're all feeding at the same time. Just constant activity there. Every one of them was feeding. Let's see, is that the wrap up of that? And we'll go into audio, I guess. So in that case, I will be muting this other audio. I'll be changing the source for this to a Reaper. There's not going to be a lot of species to go through it because, you know, this isn't the time of year when things sing. So, and I'm going to be bringing up an audio interface here shortly. So let's see, Reaper window. There we go. Then I have to get this to come online. And this part will probably be fairly quick, but we'll try to see what we can get here. So this is what we call spectrogram, by the way, or a spectrograph, depending on what you want to call it. This here, when you see these bands like this, that's human voice. But when you see things like Let's see. Let's go along here a little more. There we go. I lost it right for a second. Let's try use this. Okay, here we go. You can see this little tiny blip here. That would be probably a bird making a little chip sound. So let's see if this comes out. So that's super quiet. So what we're going to do, and I expected this, item properties, where I'm going to bump this way up because the stuff records quietly. So yeah, it's a little tink sound. Tink, tink, tink. Very quiet, whatever it is. So I'm going to be looking for things that are not so quiet, because they're not kind of things I'm going to upload to eBird as like audio examples. There's very few people upload audio to that site, and it is used to train the Merlin Bird ID app. Good audio recordings. So let's see what we got here. Probably still not good enough. This is me yapping on, because sometimes I'm recording for potential future content and podcasts or for Patreon, things like that. Okay, that's chickadee. It's okay. I don't know if I'd want to upload it and be like, this is my best chickadee, because it's not. I mean, it is technically chickadee. It's just not maybe the most clearest audio. Oh, so there's some Carolina wren in the background there, doing its little bleep, bleep, bleep. I don't remember in this day getting much of anything good, but there might. So that's a white-throated sparrow. That's what it sounds like. Let's bring that up even higher. Let's add 10 more decibels to that. Yep. Oh, you get a lot of Carolina wren. So you hear in the background a little chirp from the Carolina wren. It's actually in the lower. So this is, by the way, the two lanes here are left and right stereo channels. So on the right side here, we have a slightly louder sound for the Carolina wren, for example. So it was more to the right. Whereas you'll notice the noise on the left here is higher than the in this. By noise, I mean kind of literally the noise you get in a TV static kind of thing. The static is darker, not darker. It's actually brighter, meaning there's more sound in there than here, and that's because probably the left side was where the highway noises were more prominent. I'm not entirely sure though, although the highway noise is usually lower frequencies, but I guess a lot of it's cross-cutting too. So you'll notice here, this is probably like a car ramping or something. It's an ambulance. Or police. This is a white-throated sparrow. A seat call. Northern cardinals and wrens are all loud. Yeah, both of them are loud. Carolina wren does sing year-round too, so I'm surprised I didn't get any song this day. It's just calls. I think there's a scolding call in here somewhere, though. So we're going to look to see if there's any strong spectrographs that would be worth saving. That's not loud enough. Because at first I was like, well, any audio is, technically the right audio, but I kind of want to keep it good. So this is cardinal. It's actually not bad. That's actually pretty loud in terms of, I wouldn't use it as my best work, but it's actually not bad for I've recorded cardinal this year. That counts. So let's, I'm going to toss this into, find a directory to toss this into. I think I made an eBird thing. eBird 25, yep. Open. So I'm going to call this Northern Cardinal chip. I'm going to render, not entire project, it'll be the time selection render. So I'm just doing an external rendering here that we'll upload after. Oops. Close. There we go. All right. I was going to do a high level look here to see. There actually is a bit more sound going on here. Hey, there we go. Got some scolding right in there. lots of traffic noise. This is not bad, actually.
It was scolding rain.
There's me.
It was scolding rain.
This is the behavior they do when they get mad at something. It's them trying to warn something off their territory. And they do this bubbly call too, but it's less of a threatening than anything. This doesn't seem threatening to me. So why did I render that one too? That one's a good Carolina Wren example for a scolding call, at least. Carolina Wren, scold. And I'm going to be doing time selection, render file. All right, we'll upload that after. I don't think there's going to be much else in this, but let's check. What's this? This is a squirrel, not a bird. And what's this? Another squirrel. This is angry gray squirrel. The squirrel's gonna know, the gray squirrel specifically, they make this kind of call. Someone felt threatened in some way. Alright, so I am done with that track. We're gonna go back to solo this track now. Go up there, drag this down. I'm going to bring this one up 33 decibels as well too. Or 30 decibels, I should say. Where was this? Is it the same day? I think this is McMaster. Oh yeah, this is me trying to get tree sparrows and failing. You can kind of see a couple in here, I guess. Okay, that's not bad actually. Because you're not going to get song this time of year. All you're going to is these ticks. This is actually a pretty clear recording. So I don't mind actually rendering that out. So it's not exciting, but this time of year, American Tree Sparrow is never going to be exciting in terms of its calls. We put render file. And done. So that was the purpose of that recording. We'll bring this up now. 2 more left to go through. These are probably today's. They might not have anything, but we'll see. Bring this another 30 decibels up. We'll see what we have here. A lot of handling noise. Let's see, did we have... What's this?
Downy woodpeckers. I'm walking into McMaster Forest and I've already got a flock of them.
Oh, wait, hold on. Gotta solo the track.
Park.
What is this?
Bayfront Park.
Okay, this is Bayfront today.
Common goldeneye soon.
Okay, so this is Downy woodpecker. Right there. And then I interrupted by talking about common goldeneyes, because that's what my actual target was, because I don't get to record duck sounds very often. That's the sound there. Whoops, what just happened? Why did it? Okay. I'm going to mute these others. I think something on the track triggered a mute a guard here. Something's actually too loud. Yeah, okay. There's a segment of this track that went over the limit for the application. It's trying to protect from blowing out any speakers, basically. That's what this is. I can repair that though. Fix it. There we go. Oh yeah, I must have. That's annoying. I got that sound just as I made some adjustments with my hands probably. Yeah, okay. How far can I bring this until it's a noise? There, right about there. That's not bad. So let's see if there's any more of this common goldeneye sound. Let's see if there's any louder ones. So that was pretty... Hey, there's some right here. So you can tell distinctly from the spectrograph what species it is once you get to know the song or call or whatever. And of course it doesn't take long. Like, you look at this a couple times and you go, okay, I know what that looks like. Let's just look for that same pattern, and here we go. there's a loud one. That's a good common goldeneye recording. What are these? Okay, so these sounds, this is also common goldeneye, but it's a really weird, low guttural sound coming out of its throat. Sounds like a low... It's barely visible on the spectrograph. I actually would have to zoom in very closely here. You can just see this little buzz-like thing going on right here. It's very quiet and subtle. That is actually common goldeneye as well. And then there's also Canada Goose in the background. What is this though? Ooh, cool. So that is all common goldeneye. Let's render that out. Kogo, call, and mating call, I guess. Seem to be two kinds of calls going on there. Cool. Let's see if there's anything else I can grab out of this. What's this? Hear an angry chickadee.
Mating displays.
Okay, chickadee. That's actually a viable chickadee recording. Doesn't have to be long. BCCH call. Close that out. Let's see what, ooh, what's this? It's more chickadee. Okay, mallard. And we'll render that out as a mallard. Technically, it could have been a black duck, but there wasn't that many of them. It's kind of unlikely. They can sound very similar. They're pretty much, I'm pretty sure they do sound identical. It's a chickadee. It's not a very loud chickadee. I could do better. Mallard laughing. Chickadee.
I'm scared of a bunch of
Me talking. Me banging things, it looks like. I was probably trying to take photos while holding the recorder here. That's why it looks odd. Oh, hey, I didn't know I recorded that. All right, cool. This is Golden Crown Kinglet recording. I couldn't get any photos of them this week, but I got an audio recording of them. Golden Crown Kinglet. Call. And just so you know what that looks like, I'm going to bring that up for a second here because I didn't get any good photos this week of it. We're going to look for Birds of the World. No, not that site. Birds of the World. And we'll bring this up on stream in a second. GCKI. Let's go Crown Kinglet. And Safari. Here we go. This bird. Very difficult to photograph this bird. They move so incredibly fast. They don't sit still for very long. And so they're always just a blur, essentially, unless you're very quick. Because they're always on the move. They're always feeding. They're usually high up on trees. And, you know, you can occasionally catch them down low. But it's often when they're down low, they're not in the open. They're behind several branches. They're just a challenge to photograph. Getting audio of them is actually very easy comparatively. And this one's a very good, this is like, the photographer must be very happy to get this photo because you do not, that bird probably perched like that for no less than 1/4 of a second and then was gone. Like you got a fast reaction time and have good focus, good lighting, just everything. That's why you'll see like a lot of subpar photos of the species if you just go through this, I bet. Well, it's going to go to the next species. So yeah. And here's their typical sound. So that's their song. Ooh, that's loud. Wait, you probably can't hear that. So that's good because that was too loud. So I'll, yeah, because I'm not rendering the audio through there. That's a good thing. You probably heard it because it went through my microphone. but you probably didn't hear it as loudly as I did. Probably, but who knows? My microphone is pretty good. Let's see. Nope, that's the end of that one. So we're done there. We're going to mute this one off. Turn this one on. This last one's probably just like I heard something and was like, yeah, I should record that. I actually can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Carolina Wren.
Hey, friend again. Carolina Wren.
Carolina Wren that was scolding, but it was kind of not very nearby. I just barely hear it. It's not very loud. Let's see if we can pick up. Yeah, there's not much here. So it's like there's not these chips because that's Northern Cardinal. More here, I guess it's louder. It's not very nearby. Yeah, not very loud, so I'm not going to deal with that right now. All right, so let's bring some of the sounds back on while I switch to populating eBird with this stuff. So we'll see what the final count is this week for all these things. Continue. Let's hit done here. Going to go to my oldest checklist of the year. January 1st. All right, now I'm going to bring things here. Oh, yeah, and I got to show you guys the Safari window. There we go. All right. So we'll start with the concession woods. And I'm going to find my stuff here. eBird 2025. Let's do this in order. All right, rock pigeon. That's the only thing I really photographed well here. Bring that in. And then I believe I had an audio Northern Cardinal. Toss this down in here. We got a Carolina Wren that was scolding. And that was it for this. So we'll see how fast this is, but on OBS, that's not going to update right away, I don't think. I think what I have to do is click on the birding stats thing in OBS, because I'm just curious how quickly this updates. Where do I have that? eBird counter. Oh, right. I'm going to have to go to studio mode. Then go to... I'm not going to do this every time. I just want to see if this works. I'm just going to find... There it is, eBird counter. We go to species count. Yeah, if I hit refresh. What? Maybe they haven't updated their numbers yet. Oh well, we'll check at the end. We'll see after what it says. The way I source that on OBS in the bottom right is from, I believe it's my eBird, and then it'd be media. So I go to something like this, like audio, and then I check the filter where it is. We'll get rid of audio as a filter, and then we'll go date, and we'll just say year round, but only the start year is 2025. Set the date range. What is going on here? Oh, start here and here. Something's wrong here. So photos, video. Oh, yeah. So they're probably still updating things in the background. I bet you that's it. There's probably a little bit of lag in the whole process. Probably doesn't update the numbers immediately, but we might see that in a little bit as I go through here. So let's get back to my original checklist. All right, so 1 with photo, 2 with audio. Not bad. All right, what have I got next? Yeah, we definitely got stuff with the RBG, so we'll add media. All right, this is where I had Northern Shoveler, so we'll throw a photo of Northern Shoveler in. American Black Duck. Well, it's not here yet. Did I miss American Black Duck on this list? Ooh, I did. I'm going to have to add that species in. I missed a species. Let's add a fat pack duck. I know there's at least one, so I'll throw one in there. And then we will manage our media. American black duck. And that's the swan. Mute swan. There's 2 swan photos. Swan. There we go. Ring-billed gull, which is actually a herring gull. American herring gull. And then I think the ATSP is the next list. And I don't think I recorded sounds at this location, so we're done here. 4 more species with photos. Okay. McMaster, we do our... Oops, don't need to add species, need to add media. Add media. What do we got now? So we got American tree sparrow calling. That's audio. And then photos, I'm going to be adding American tree sparrow again. American crow. And that's it for this location. Hit done. Yeah, there's my audio recording already. And next list. Okay, that's at home. This is at home again. I think, yeah, this was the day I got the Junco in the photos. So, where's our Junco? There it is. Junco, white-throated sparrow. Wouldn't have had audio recordings at home of those. House finch. Northern cardinal. Cool. That is that for that one. That was another yard list. Another yard list. Or I didn't do photos. Alright, today's Bayfront Park exploration. So we're going to look at, yes, the American herring gull. Where are you? Uh-oh. You're further down the list. There we go. American herring gull. Then we go mallard. Bald eagle. It's going to be down here a bit. Bald eagle. Canada goose. That'll be the very top. Red-breast merganser. Where are you? Red-breast merganser. DCCO, that's the cormorant. Cormorant. Actually, there's 2 good cormorant photos. Greater Scott. American coot. Where are you on the list, coot? Oh, did I miss the coots in my list? Or no, I missed. Did I miss them? Okay, I'm gonna check this. May have missed coots in here. I have to estimate how many I had. AMCO. At least 9, I'd say. Manage media. American coot. Common goldeneye. Where are you? Common goldeneye. Gadwall. And downy woodpecker. That's way down here. Carolina wren would be down the list too. Where are you? Carolina wren. It was a very productive day. This list is like a lot of species. It's like 28 or 29 species, I think, in one walk. American black duck. In fact, I got to update that because there's one hybrid in there. Let's first update the list to edit species. Where's my black ducks? I'm going to say there's 5 American black ducks and 1 hybrid mallard American black duck. And we manage media, and we just probably say in that photos notes that there's an additional species, mallard X. And that'll fix that. Common loon. This is going to be a really good list. Common loon, colo, and then common golden eye. Got another photo of them. It's a really good back shot. And northern mockingbird. Okay, and then I have some audio recordings of. Did we do the? We did that one already. So the Kogo, common golden eye. Just gotta find them on here. Here we go. The mating call. We had a chickadee call. And a mallard call. Golden crown kinglet call. Did I get golden crown kinglet on this list? Yes, I did. Okay, good. And that should do it for there. Get done. 15 photos, species photos, and 4 with audio. Very nice. So now if I go back to this, I go to like my media. Can I change the date to current year? Current year. So date range. There we go. So it's 29 photos. 29 species have photo and 7 have audio. Really? Wow. Okay. So here's my photos of the year. This thing updated pretty fast. I have 29 species on eBird. So let's see. I probably just have to refresh on the counter on eBird here. Let's see. Refresh. Refresh. There we go. It should be showing up on OBS now. On the bottom right. It's a little cut off, but you know what it means. And yeah, that's what I wanted to do tonight, was to try to get through this and update that thing on the bottom and just have a little VOD of this. Have a good night, Mega Bassist. Glad to have you around. Alright. I'm going to need a bit of a rest now after all this, but that's all of our video there. Or sorry, photos there, and this is all the audio. I won't be able to hear that, but I'll have to fix that another time. But yeah, this is cool. Gonna have a little like thing going here. Alright, let's see if we have any good raid targets for tonight. I don't think we're gonna get to the 2024 stuff. I didn't know how long this was gonna take, so who we got on? Oh, I know where we're going, because I can't think of too much right now. And I know where I'm gonna be hanging out. I'm gonna go to Science Streams. They're a Twitch ambassador. Looks like they're playing a crab game tonight. They do various science content. Like every night they stream. Sometimes it's like tomorrow night will be microscopy. I think they were doing a little bit of like scientific papers. Right now it looks like an extremely silly crab game he's playing. So we'll we'll do that. Raid Science. Thanks, Knitting, and thanks everybody. I'm going to give this a try again next week, and once in a while I'm probably going to see if I can get a guest in as well, because I find that more interesting to have someone to talk back with too. And I do have some people lined up for future streams, so that'll be really fun. Have a good night, everybody, and we're going to be rating Science Streams. Even if you don't get a chance to, you know, hang out there, give them a follow, or does he say hi? They're really cool. The first Twitch ambassadors in the science communication category of things. There's never really been many science communication partners as it was. There's Moohoodles and a few others, but this is the first time Twitch has given ambassador status to status ship. I don't know if that's a word, but to anyone. So it's a huge accomplishment. I need some water before I read. Anyways, have a good night. We'll see you over there.